Caitlin Clark, the basketball prodigy out of Iowa who has redefined the game for a new generation. With her unlimited shooting range, fiery attitude, and game-changing performances, she's taken the world by storm. But beyond the highlights and broken records lies a different story, one that sparked heated debates and divided fans. Today, we dive deep into Caitlin Clark's rise, her controversies, and what her presence means for the future of the WNBA. Where do we even begin with Caitlin Clark? From the moment she stepped onto the court for the University of Iowa, she made it clear. This wasn't just any player. Caitlin transcended women's basketball by hitting three-pointers from distances most wouldn't even attempt. Clark's ability to score from almost anywhere on the court drew immediate comparisons to Steph Curry. Just like Curry changed the way the men's game is played, Caitlin's influence has been felt across women's basketball. During her time at Iowa, she led her team to back-to-back Final Four appearances and helped the Hawkeyes reach the national championship. Along the way, she broke records, packed arenas, and turned casual basketball fans into Caitlin Clark superfans. And it wasn't just her shooting. Caitlin's bravado on the court, whether it was trash-talking opponents or pulling off the now iconic "you can't see me" move, captured the attention of millions. Fans loved it. Even those who didn't follow women's basketball tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark do her thing. But while Caitlin Clark's college career was filled with success and adoration, her transition to the WNBA was anything but smooth. Expectations were sky-high, and fans eagerly awaited to see her dominate the league in the same way she did in college. However, the WNBA is a different beast. In her first games with the Indiana Fever, Caitlin was met with a level of physicality that shocked many of her fans, from getting blindsided by a brutal screen set by Breanna Stewart to facing relentless defense from players like Dejanai Carrington and Betnijah Laney. Clark quickly learned that the WNBA is one of the most physical leagues in basketball today. The WNBA has long been known for its toughness, drawing comparisons to the NBA of the 80s and 90s when physical play was the norm. But for many fans who were new to the league, particularly those drawn in by Caitlin, this level of physicality came as a surprise. And soon the media narrative began to shift. As Caitlin struggled in her first few WNBA games, a narrative began to emerge. On TV shows, in podcasts, and across social media, the question was asked, are WNBA players being too rough on Caitlin Clark? National figures like Charles Barkley chimed in, suggesting that Clark was being targeted by other players out of jealousy or pettiness. Barkley wasn't alone. Other commentators echoed his sentiment, claiming that WNBA players were intentionally roughing up Clark because she was bringing new viewers and money into the league. This idea gained traction, especially among newer fans. Clark's early struggles were seen by some as evidence that she was being unfairly targeted, and soon the narrative became, the WNBA is too tough on Caitlin Clark. But this controversy didn't stop with Caitlin. As the Journal points out, a deeper conversation about race and media bias emerged. Another rookie, Angel Reese, who had her own stellar college career, was also facing tough physicality in her early WNBA games. However, when players like Jonquel Jones and Alyssa Thomas got physical with Reese, the media coverage was nowhere near as intense. The Journal cites a study from the Sports Business Journal showing that white WNBA players receive between 2 to 5 times more media coverage than their black counterparts. In the case of Caitlin Clark, it could be as much as 100 times more coverage. Angel Reese, who faced similar physical challenges, didn't receive the same national outcry when she was pushed to the ground by Jonquel Jones or had her throat grabbed by Alyssa Thomas. But when Caitlin Clark was blindsided by Breanna Stewart, it became headline news. Race plays a significant role in these narratives, and the Journal highlights that Clark's experience in the WNBA has inadvertently exposed deeper racial divides in media coverage.
Controversies aside, there's no denying the impact Caitlin Clark has had on the WNBA. Her ability to sell out arenas and draw massive TV audiences is taking the league to new heights. Her first WNBA game drew over 2.1 million viewers, and her presence on the road is helping teams like the Seattle Storm and Los Angeles Sparks set attendance records. Seattle sold 18,300 seats for a midweek game just to see Caitlin Clark. Los Angeles saw its largest crowd of the season, more than any Lakers game, when Clark came to town. These aren't just numbers. They're a reflection of how Caitlin is moving the needle for the entire league. An important aspect of this controversy is the racial dynamics at play. The journal notes a stark disparity in media coverage between white and black players in the WNBA. According to the Sports Business Journal, white players receive between 2 to 5 times more coverage than their black counterparts. In Caitlin Clark's case, this disparity could be as high as 100 times. This raises a critical question. Is Clark's treatment a product of racial bias within media narratives and public perceptions? Online backlash has also played a significant role. Claims that the WNBA is unfairly targeting Clark were amplified by commentators and social media users. This has led to a divisive atmosphere, with some fans threatening to stop watching the WNBA over its treatment of Clark. Pat McAfee further fueled the controversy with his controversial comments, referring to Clark as a white bitch, though he intended it as a compliment. The backlash to McAfee's comments and the subsequent apology only added to the ongoing debate. Caitlin Clark's presence in the WNBA is a double-edged sword. Her star power is undeniably beneficial for the league, bringing in new fans and increasing viewership, but it also highlights deep-rooted issues around race and media bias. The growth of the league is promising, with potential for more expansion, roster spots, and financial opportunities for players. However, these changes come with their own set of challenges and controversies. Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA is profound. Whether she's a symbol of controversy or a pivotal figure driving the league's growth, her story is one of transformation and challenge. As the league navigates these changes, Clark's presence will undoubtedly play a key role in shaping its future. The conversations surrounding her highlight both the potential and the pitfalls of a rapidly evolving sport.
Caitlin Clark is more than just a basketball player. She's a symbol of the evolution in women's sports. Her rise reflects a broader shift towards greater visibility and recognition for female athletes. Clark's prominence has not only amplified the profile of women's basketball, but has also contributed to the ongoing fight for gender equality in sports. Her success is helping to pave the way for future generations of female athletes. The WNBA has experienced significant growth, thanks in part to players like Caitlin Clark. This growth is evident in both viewership numbers and financial investments. Clark's entry into the league has driven up attendance and merchandise sales, contributing to a positive economic impact. The WNBA is on a trajectory towards becoming a more lucrative and high-profile league. Despite its growth, the WNBA faces ongoing challenges, including inequities in media coverage, pay, and public perception. The disparity in coverage between men's and women's sports remains a significant issue. The journal highlights that the media's focus on Clark can overshadow broader discussions about systemic inequities in the league. To understand the full scope of Caitlin Clark's impact, it's important to hear from the players themselves. How do her peers view her presence in the WNBA? Players like Breanna Stewart and A'ja Wilson have shared their thoughts on Clark's influence and the changing dynamics within the league. Their perspectives offer valuable insights into the evolving environment of women's professional basketball. What does the future hold for Caitlin Clark? As she continues to make waves in the WNBA, her career trajectory will be closely watched. Will she continue to break records and inspire the next generation of athletes, or will the challenges she faces shape her path in unexpected ways? Only time will tell. Caitlin Clark's journey through the WNBA is a compelling story of success, controversy, and transformation. Her impact extends beyond the basketball court, influencing how we view women's sports and the dynamics within it. As we reflect on her story, it's clear that Caitlin Clark is not just a basketball player. She's a game changer in every sense of the word.